Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today I'm giving you my Mastemon deck profile for BT8. This is a tricky deck to build. Let me tell you, the build I've got for you today is just a very straightforward, down-to-earth kind of build, just getting the mission accomplished. We're just getting into Mastemon as consistently and as thoroughly as possible. It's the level 5 department in Mastemon is tricky. I think there's going to be some crazy wild techs out there, but all of my testing, every time I try to do some weird, like neat test, like techs and things like that, and getting really crazy with it, it just made the deck more bricky. Without Angemon being able, scatter mode being able to just draw a whole bunch and then immediately replacing itself on field for your level 5s to Evo on top of, and so on and so forth. The consistency is so much more lacking than it was in the JP format. I know a lot of people are hyped for this deck and are anticipating it doing very well and being very powerful, but I'm just warning you now, it's just not as cookie cutter and easy as you think compared to how it was in the JP format. Okay, trust me on that. So the deck is what it is. I think it's still very strong. Well, I just need more testing against all the decks of the meta. Just the initial testing we've done so far, it's been pretty solid. We've definitely liked it. If you saw the feature match, it went toe-to-toe with Imperial. If they had played it correctly, they actually would have beat Imperial. So yeah, it's still a very solid deck. Don't forget, our memory marker this month that came out is Sukamon. So if you're playing a Cherubimon deck in BT7, or you're going to build a Cherubimon deck in BT8, this is a great memory marker for that deck, I think. Super cute, handmade out of clay by my wife, hand-painted face as well. You can find this on our Etsy store, link in the description below. Also on that store, you can find all of our previous memory markers we've had on the channel, as well as some of our Battle Ready Inc. merch. All right, so here it is as a whole. Just a couple of these one-ofs in here. We're going to get to them, but we're going to talk about them. These are just kind of alternate choices that you could play. So they are what they are, but we will discuss those when we get there. The deck as is, this is the build I've got going as it is now, though. So let's do this first one here. We got Narrowmon as our baby. When attacking, if you have a yellow Digimon in play, draw one, then trash one. Why I went with this instead of like Demi-Marimon. The idea is that your Evo stack, which you start in raising area and you typically will go all the way up into your level 5, should be a purple. And then you should, the theory is, play a level 5 yellow to pass turn. So all of our yellow level 5s are all on play. So we hard play those, and then when we pass turn, we DNA Digivolve. The idea is that you should only really ever be attacking if you can survive. So the only thing that should be attacking realistically in this deck is Mastemon, just like out of raising area. So anything that's got a baby underneath it is something that's a pretty important Evo stack, I would say. You're not just going to like Evo a Gatomon and then just kind of promote it up and throw it out there turn 1. It's just not really the strategy that kind of came, that felt the strongest. I think in this format, being able to protect your stuff is going to be super important. You don't want to be promoting up a rookie turn 2, evoing into a level 4, potentially evoing into a level 5 to pass turn, and just leaving this level 4 or level 5 just sitting out there. There's just too much removal to worry about to try to handle something like that. So I think keeping your stuff in raising area until you're ready to go into your Mastemon is very important. So I went with the Narrowmon over something like a LadyDevimon. I just think that you're going to get more use out of this when attacking than you will anything else. And at 13,000 DP, Mastemon's not an easy pushover to get past. So I think, yeah, you should get more uses out of each Narrowmon than the one use you'll get out of Demi. Demi's going to give you one use. Narrowmon should potentially get you like 1 to 2 uses. Next up, for our first rookie, we've got Candlemon here. So Candlemon being a yellow that can Digivolve on top of purple or yellow. So we can throw it in here as a rookie to Evo on top of our purple baby here. I really like this inheritable. Your turn, once per turn. When you play another purple Digimon, gain 1 memory. like I said earlier, typically you're going to be hard playing yellows to pass turn to DNA Digivolve. Where this does come up, though, is hard playing your level 4s, which I know is a little weird, but our Gatomon here has an on-play effect that searches, and our other Gatomon here has Rush. So anytime we can on-play these, we can gain one memory back because of Candlemon. Also, this works really nicely with Mastemon. When Mastemon plays something out of security, we can gain that 1 memory off of Candlemon. So in a way, it kind of makes that DNA Digivolve into Mastemon, you know, a little less cost heavy. So if you're hard playing out these level 5 yellows, you can think of it as, if you're going to DNA Digivolve, it's like reducing their play cost by 1. If you want to kind of look at it like that, or reducing the Evo cost of Mastemon, just kind of however you want to look at it. So that's why we like Candlemon here, just reducing basically the play costs of all of our stuff here. Next, we got Salomon. This is one of the key and most important pieces of the deck. You should absolutely be running 4 of this for sure. So again, can Evo on top of yellow or purple babies. So again, we can keep running those purple babies here. And inheritable end of your turn, you may DNA Digivolve this Digimon and one of your other Digimon in play into a Digimon card in your hand by paying its DNA Digivolve cost. So this is the big combo that I've been talking about here, is you're going to Evo up into a purple, typically a purple, and then hard play out a yellow to pass turn, and then when you pass turn, the Salomon inheritable will trigger, allowing you to immediately DNA Digivolve into your Mastemon. The Gatomon over here has the same exact inheritable as the Salomon here, which is really important because you're not always going to get the same rookie like turn 1 every single time. So if you don't draw into the Salomon and you draw into one of your other rookies here, you can go into those rookies and then go into a Gatomon on top of that rookie instead. And next we got Gazimon here, just a good old-fashioned memory blocker. A memory gain is still pretty predominant in this format, I've noticed. Like, it's not as impactful as it was in last format, but, you know, against blue, we're still stopping those hammer sparks, right? We're stopping the Vmon, that unsuspend gain 1 memory Vmon there that's going to be in armors everywhere. In the mirror, you're going to be stopping like the Candlemons and things like that. There's just lots of different like oddball techs that are still gaining memory, and it's just a good generic thing to have in a deck, I think. If you've got the space for it, if you've got the rookie space for it, and it just kind of fits into your strategy, go ahead and keep throwing in a couple of these memory blockers, I think. Again, they're not as important as they were in the last format, but they're still solid cards. And then the last one was a big debate. We definitely had a little bit of struggle on picking out the best rookie for the last slot here. So went with Sukamon as kind of just very much a backup plan to the backup plan. If you can't get in your Salomon, or you have a Gatomon and you don't need the Salomon, you can go into a different rookie like Candlemon to gain you 1 memory, but also kind of like the Sukamon here, just on deletion inheritable, gain 1 memory. So if they ever want to delete your Mastemon, like I said, the theory is you don't promote out of raising area until you're going to go into your Mastemon. So this should always be underneath Mastemon if you like go that route to do this plan, to gain you 1 memory. So if they want to delete that Mastemon, it's going to cost them a little bit of extra. They're going to have to put in a little bit of extra work. So that's why I like the Sukamon. It's just a little backup. If you don't need the Salomon, I prefer the Candlemon, but if I don't have a Candlemon, then Sukamon is a good alternative choice to the Candlemon. Next up, we got our level 4 package here, in that of Gatomon. So 3 Evo cost on a level 4 is pretty steep. Also, I should point out, so this can Evo on top of yellow or purple, and we have these purple rookies here, and that's when we went with the purple babies, is so that way these two could Digivolve on top of our baby in raising area. So if you want to go with a yellow baby instead, you can swap these out for some yellow cards instead. I don't think Cutemon is going to be really that impactful this format, and the yellow doesn't have a memory blocker, but if there's like other ones you would prefer that's going to give you good impact, I couldn't think of anything right off hand in this moment, but if there's just like other stuff you would rather use that's just yellow, you can do that. But yeah, getting back to Gatomon here. So 3 Evo cost is steep. However, the second ability here of when this Digimon would digivolve into a card with Archangel or Fallen Angel in its trait, reduce the memory cost of the Digivolution by 2. So when you go into like your LadyDevimons here, or if you want to Evo into like an Angemon, or you know, whatever the case may be, you can reduce the Evo cost by 2, making it a 1 Evo cost, which is very powerful. So turn 1 play is Evo into a Gatomon to pass turn. Turn 2, you're at 1 memory. You can promote up the Gatomon, Evo for 1 into whatever you need to, and then you can hard play a yellow on turn 2. And immediately trigger the Gatomon Inheritable and immediately DNA Digivolve into Mastemon on turn 2. So that's why I do like the Gatomon. Even if you're going to Evo it for 3, it's okay. Because basically it's 1 more than normal. However, you're going to save yourself 2 on the following turn when you Evo on top of the Gatomon. So it's actually a bit of a plus. Okay, I know it's an early investment to get a bigger return later on. Also, the on play here, if you need to, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 yellow Digimon card and 1 purple Digimon card among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. That's so good. If you're not familiar with how these yellows or how the dual colors work, it's whatever you need them to be to fit the role in that moment. So if you reveal, say, 3 of these duo colors, right? 3 black Gatomons. You reveal off that with a regular Gatomon. You can technically pick 2 Gatomons up and then bottom deck the 3rd one, because one's your purple and one's your yellow target. So you can pick up duplicates or, the same color. If I got, a Wizardmon, a Gatomon, and a black Gatomon, I can pick up 2 of them and bottom deck the 3rd, because how duo colors work. The next one here, so this is you could consider it a flex spot, but honestly, I just found that needing a 3rd duo color was way more important than I initially gave credit to. We tried doing just the purples, but then, they only digivolved on top of, just the purples. It didn't have the ability to to Evo onto either of our rookie colors. So we really needed something that could Evo on top of both colors equally. So that's why we went with the Wizardmon. Also, the reason we like that is because the LadyDevimon here needs to be able to Evo on top of a purple. So to be able to run LadyDevimon, you need to be able to have all purples. So, like I said, deck building for this deck is so tricky. You can get some really wild, techs in there, but to do that, you have to sacrifice in other areas. So, this just felt like the most balanced. I mean, you can really go skewed 80 different directions in this deck, but I tried to go with the most balanced version I could that incorporated all the core fundamentals of the deck while being as consistent as possible. I'm keep trying to stress that consistency. Bringing out the consistency of this deck is definitely the most important part. So the idea is that you will always Evo into whatever you can that's going to be purple. The Betsumon here is a little bit different here. It can only Evo on top of yellows, so that's another reason that it's very important to have the duo colors in all your level 4 slots, just because of being able to go in LadyDevi or Betsumon, whatever, they can't Evo on top of either color. So it's the duo colors in level 4 are so fundamentally important. No matter what you try to do in rookies, you can go a different route in rookies. Like I said, you can go with a all yellow route if you want. But the level 4s, they really need to be all duo colors, I think. And next up, we got the black Gatomon. This works really cool with Mastemon. If you can keep it on your turn with Mastemon, you can bring out this black Gatomon with Rush, which is really powerful. You can hard play it if you've got Candlemon as an inheritable. It's just a 4 play cost with Rush, which isn't that bad. I mean, that's literally better than I think every rush target in this game. I don't think there's a 4 play cost rush target. So just being able to play this for 4 is really powerful. And then even the inheritable of Retaliation isn't too bad. Again, you throw that underneath a Mastemon, and again, just like the Sukamon here, Retaliation underneath it is just another way of mitigating your opponent from not wanting to delete the Mastemon. So I do like the black Gatomon, but particularly for the duo color aspect as well as the rush. Not so much the retaliation, just because these are going to be my 2 Evo targets right here. We don't need as many level 4s, because if you actually look at how many targets we only have 6 targets that actually Evo on top of our level 4s, while these 3 here are for on play only. So now we got the LadyDevimon. This is our new one here. So 3 Evo cost, or if you go on top of Gatomon, only a 1 Evo cost. 6,000 DP is super important for some stuff we're going to discuss. Then when digivolving, you may trash 1 card in your hand to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 yellow and 1 purple card with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel and their traits among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards in the bottom of the deck in any order. And then again, Inheritable of Retaliation. Again, just another little way to help keep your Mastemon or your Ophanimon alive if they're suspended. But really, it's the when digivolving it's just a searcher, right? It's going to be able to add your Mastemons, it's going to add your Ophanimons, your more LadyDevimons, your Angemons or MagnaAngemons. It gets you whatever you're missing. So if you're into LadyDevi, in theory, you shouldn't need anything below that. You don't need any rookies or level 4s. You're just looking for your other level 5s, your yellow level 5s, or your level 6s. If you're at this point, that's literally the only thing you're missing is level 6s and another yellow level 5 to be able to DNA Digivolve with. So I really like that. It's exactly honed in on whatever you're missing, and it adds 1 yellow and 1 purple. So you can add that yellow level 5 that you're missing, and you can add a level 6 because both of our level 6s are dual color, so they can fulfill the purple role. So just a great card for sure. You do have to discard first, so keep that in mind. Discard first, then you get to do your search. Now, I do have this old LadyDevimon here as well. Now, there are some important restrictions on this that you need to be aware of. Particularly, it's an 8,000 DP, because we can play 6,000 DP or less for free with our Flame Hellscythe. Being at 8,000, we can't do that. So it's a little bit more restrictive on like future plays you can do. But this when digivolving trigger draw 2 then trash 2 is so powerful. That's better than LadyDevimon over here. LadyDevimon is, clearly is designed to discard 1, add 2, and this is designed to, add 2, discard 2, so you can sculpt your hand even better. I just think it's a little bit more generically useful, but at the same time has more of a drawback. The Inheritable here, when you use an option card, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. I mean, that could be relevant. We do have a couple option cards that we can use. It's not like super heavy into our strategy, but sometimes it does come up. So if you want to drop the LadyDevimon just to bump up the new 1 to 3, I definitely understand it. I kind of like the genericness of being able to just flat out draw. Next, we've got our on-play yellows here. So on-play MagnaAngemon, Recovery 1, always solid. Your turn, Inheritable. This Digimon gets 1,000 DP for every 3 security cards you have. That could be kind of important. Mastemon's already 13,000 though. In this format, that should be plenty. The only thing it might come up is like in the mirror match, being able to swing over your opponent's Mastemon, but that's really it. A bigger impact, honestly, is the Ophanimon here. 12,000 DP, a ton of Digimon, a ton of like very meta important Digimon are 12,000 DP. We have Ophanimon here, Dragon Mode is another one, and then Black War Greymon. So all of these are 12,000, and all of them are very much in the meta. So get that one extra little 1,000 could be kind of impactful. But again, you shouldn't really be digivolving your Ophanimon on top of your Magna. Or the Angemon here should pass turn to then trigger your DNA Digivolve. I don't think I would ever want to on-play these ones if I wasn't getting that guaranteed DNA Digivolve. And then the Angemon here is if you don't want to run 3 MagnaAngemons. If you don't want to, you can run the Angemon here to give one of your opponent's security attack -2. Could be relevant. Throw this on a Pyldramon. Doesn't matter that they attack twice because, they can't do any security checks, which MagnaAngemon recovers 1, but that's essentially only mitigating 1 swing from a Pyldramon. So Angemon in that aspect is actually better because it completely turns off the the Pyldramon. And then the inheritable. I really like this inheritable though. Of your turn, while you have a purple Digimon in play, this Digimon gains security attack +1. So this is going to make both your megas get security attack +1. This deck doesn't have a whole lot of speed or punch power. It's purple. In a nutshell, it's purple. It's very much a control deck between the Chaos Degrade, the Flame Hellscythe, or Mastemon's built-in removal. You know, even Ophanimon has some removal as well. The deck doesn't have a whole lot of punch power, so the Angemon giving some punch power is kind of nice. Like, honestly, everything on paper here, it feels like Angemon is just the better target, but like really, just gaining one is more generically useful. If there's no target for Angemon to hit, especially if you're playing like armors or if they're keeping their stuff hidden in a raising area, you're not going to be able to use Angemon. Whereas MagnaAngemon is just always live. You can always recover. It doesn't matter. There's no targets needed or anything like that. That's why I went with the MagnaAngemon as the 2 of instead of the reverse for it. And then our last level 5, you notice we're playing 9 in total, so 3, 3, and 3. We've got our 3 purples that we Digivolve into, and then we got our 3 yellows that we hard play. Betsumon is whatever you're missing in the moment, which I really like. Can be the purple if you need a purple. Can be the yellow if you need a yellow. So when Digivolving, you may trash 1 card in your hand to treat this Digimon as also having the colors of the trash card from for the turn. Then if this Digimon has 2 or more colors, draw 2. So you Evo into Betsumon, trash a purple, and then draw 2. And then it becomes a yellow-purple. So then you can immediately hard play another yellow to then DNA Digivolve. Or you can still, if you say you Evo into the Betsumon and you didn't have the purple in hand, but say you drew it off the effect, you can still hard play the LadyDevimon for 6 cost to pass turn. You're not going to get any nice on play effects, but you know what? You still have the exact requirements for DNA Digivolve. That's what I like about Betsumon, is just the genericness of being whatever it needs to be in that moment. That is so powerful. I'm very much a fan of having that third choice as being able to be either color. If you look at Pyldramon decks, they use XVmon as a blue, Stingmon as a green, and then they use Lydramon as the third choice that can be green or blue. So whatever you need in that moment, he's got you covered. So that's what I really like about these DNA Digivolves, is that whatever that third option that you choose to cover your bases is something that can be either other color. I could drop the Betsumons in theory and then just run like 4 MagnaAngemons and then 4 LadyDevimons if I really wanted to, right? But I don't think I like the consistency. Again, it's all about the consistency and ensuring I can get that DNA Digivolve. Like, Betsumon might not be as powerful necessarily, but you know what? He's pretty close. Like it just boosts the consistency and makes it more likely to happen. Next is the Mastemon herself here. 5 Evo cost normally, but you'll pretty much never Evo into her. You should always be DNA Digivolving. 13,000 TP, we already talked about. That's already really solid for this format. DNA Digivolve for 0, very powerful. When Digivolving, place 1 yellow or 1 purple Digimon card from your trash on top of your security stack face down. No level restriction on that. If you notice in our feature match, when we use this effect, we grabbed an Ophanimon from trash, put that in security. Because there's no level restriction on that part. But the next part, when DNA Digivolving, you may search your security stack for 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card and play it without paying its memory costs, then shuffle your security stack. So then that's where all of these level 5s come into play. If you play these yellows that get their on play effects, that's really, really nice. Just all kinds of different things that you can do there. Just very powerful stuff. If it's still on your turn, you can play that black Gatomon with Rush. You can play the regular Gatomon for the search. There's like really, really powerful stuff here. I mean, even if you don't want to play the level 5s, like I said, you can play the level 4s or even play a rookie if you really want to. The versatility is just really nice. Then also, when you play all turns, when you play another Digimon using an effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to the played Digimon's level. So if you play out, these level 5s, you can pop a level 5 or lower, and so on and so forth all the way down. That's really powerful. And this isn't a once per turn. So if you can activate this multiple times in some turn somehow, that's really good. I really, really like the Mastemon. And you notice it said all turns. So how do we trigger that on our opponent's turn? Say they hit into this Hellscythe in security. Activate this card's main effect. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn. Then play one purple or yellow Digimon card with 6,000 DP or less from your trash without paying its memory cost. So that's how we can trigger the Mastemon on your opponent's turn. So not only do they lose 6,000 DP on one Digimon, which could flat out kill something, you can also then play a 6,000 DP or less and pop something else. The 6,000 DP or less is huge. That's what's so important about these the level 5s that we've chose, right? So the LadyDevimon 6,000, MagnaAngemon 6,000, Angemon 6,000, and then we get all their on-play effects. So MagnaAngemon can recover you one, Angemon minus security attack on something. So like the combo there is like insane. Hellscythe getting hit in security, minus 6,000 DP. Play a MagnaAngemon, recover, then activate Mastemon ability, pop something. See, like that's so good. All like from a single Hellscythe getting hit in security while you have a Mastemon on field. So very powerful stuff. Really liking Mastemon as a very powerful control card for sure. So anytime you leave your stuff out in the open, just be aware that Mastemon is on the hunt for sure. Next up is our backup mega. We have a good, like 4 megas feels pretty good, but in this deck we can really play 6, like the old standard, like I'm going to Evo all the way up. So I'm going to run 6 level 6s. So 4 Evo cost is fairly high. We can mitigate that a little bit with our Kari here, which we'll get into. 12,000 DP is pretty solid. Still, for this format, is pretty, like, just kind of on the cuff. Like a lot of things are already 12,000 DP. Also, I just finally noticed that Ophanimon is in the reflection here of the scythe. That is super cool. I love that detail. Digivolve for 2 on top of Ophanimon. This will never happen. All the other Ophanimons are not that great. But when Digivolving, if this Digimon has a purple card in its Digivolution card, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I mean, that hits armors a little bit, but I mean, they should just armor purge. But then you could possibly finish them off with, something else. Or if you're going against Pyodramon, if they leave a level 4 sitting out and they don't DNA Digivolve, you get to pop that. That is super powerful. Anytime you get a pop level 4 is usually pretty solid, though. Then, if this Digimon has a yellow card in its Digivolution cards, recovery +1. Security Control really likes this in their yellow hybrid decks because they can Evo for 4, get another recovery off, and that's really good for their deck, but they don't ever get this pop. In this build, you should always get both effects because all of our level 4s are duo colors. So as long as you Evo all the way up into a Ophanimon from Raising or whatever that may be, you should have a duo color that will fulfill both requirements to give you both effects, which is great. Definitely the deck that Ophanimon fits in the best is this one right here. And then on deletion, I love this. You may play one purple or yellow level 4 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. Say you Evo all the way up into this, and it's literally like turn 2 or turn 3 of the game. It gets deleted. Like nothing else has been deleted this whole game except for this. Since you get to play it from trash, you can pick from its own Evo stack. So like if you have a Gatomon underneath, you just get to play that Gatomon right back out because you pick from trash after it's been deleted. That's really good. If it was from hand, you run the risk of not having a target in hand. But if it's from trash, you should always have a guaranteed target for sure. Unless you like literally turn 1, play a MagnaAngemon, and then turn 2, Evo into Ophanimon on top of the MagnaAngemon. Like I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's been done. But that feels real bad because then you have no target for Ophanimon. But yeah, so very powerful card. Anytime a card can just float into something else is always super scary. That's like one of the big things in this game is like, okay, let me delete that Digimon so you don't have 3 attacks on me next turn. So you can't, I'm at 2 security. I'll delete one of your Digimon and then I'll be fine. But it's like, oh, if I delete that Digimon though, it just replaces itself instantly. So I can't even delete that one because it doesn't do me anything. So it's a very powerful effect in this game for sure. The Flame Hellscythe we already covered. It's the 6,000 DP. It's minus 6,000 DP. It's not just delete something with 6,000 DP or less. It's minus 6,000 DP. This murders armors, okay? Being able to just minus 6,000 DP on them. So technically, right, minus 6,000 DP, then they armor purge. That minus 6,000 DP sticks. So that Vmon sitting there also has a minus 6,000 DP. So that immediately kills him too. So DP minusing is a great way to deal with armors this format. So really liking Flame Hellscythe. So I went ahead and bumped it up to 3 over my initial testing. Next is the Chaos Degrade, another great card for this format. Place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the top or bottom of your opponent's deck or security stack if you do trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So a lot of debate, do you put it on the top or bottom? I think you 100% always put it on the bottom because it doesn't matter if it's like 20,000 DP because it's the last check in security. If I swing in with something with security attack plus 5, if I die on that last check, it's okay. It's not a big deal because even if I had more security attack after that, it wasn't going to matter because I can't win off of it. And also, you can just kind of like pop it with a rookie or whatever. The big thing is trashing that top card of security is the unknown, right? It could be a Tamer. It could be like a Davis or something like that you really don't want your opponent to have. A Memory Fixer. It could be a Hammer Spark that could really mess you up and just pass turn that you weren't expecting before you could just like do a whole bunch of security checks. Whatever that case may be. Always trashing the top card, the unknown, is 1,000 times better than putting it on top and then trashing it. So just make sure you do that, okay? Then the security effect, you may place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the top or bottom of its owner's security stack. Unfortunately, the security effect isn't as nice because you don't get that removal immediately afterward, so it kind of gives a little bit of recovery for your opponent in a way, but at the same time, it's a good way to remove a very powerful threat off field. There's nothing in the game so far that has the ability to dodge removal in that way of getting put into security. So just like Omnimon is an example, you can trash or bounce a level 6 that's underneath it to hand or trash, I can't remember which, to prevent being returned to hand, bottom of the deck, or being deleted. Like this would get around that. Also, looking at this format with X Antibody, Dorogreymon has the ability, can't have its DP reduced and can't be destroyed. Well, this gets around that anyway. So just, it's a great card. It's great for countering the meta we're going into. I really like it. Next is Kari. This is a new memory fixer for yellow. Finally, we don't have to use TK anymore, which is also kind of good because we do run a decent bit of purple in here. So TK in this deck could be kind of bad if you see only purple targets in your security. But this is fine. Your turn, when a card is added to your security stack, you may suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory. Now, this isn't specifically for recovery. It's just anytime that a card is added to security for whatever reason. If you go MagnaAngemon to recover, you can suspend a Kari to gain a memory back, kind of reducing his play cost. If you want to look at it like that, from a 7 to a 6. If you have multiple Karis, you can just suspend them all. So potentially you can make him a 4 play cost MagnaAngemon with enough Karis. Works with Ophanimon. Works with Mastemon. Mastemon's ability of putting something from trash into security and then playing something out of security. When that card hits security, you can immediately go Kari to recover that memory. So another good way. So if you go Candlemon's effect to gain a memory off the Mastemon, when the Mastemon plays out like a yellow target there, that gives you a memory, and then you can go Kari to gain more memory. So even if you pass turn with a MagnaAngemon, you have enough ways to mitigate that massive 7 play cost relatively low and actually not be as big of a detriment as it seems initially of giving your opponent 7 memory. Oh, well, let me just go Candlemon effect and then Kari effect here. So, that was only a 3 play cost. MagnaAngemon, okay, like that's not so bad, especially if your opponent has a memory fixer on the field anyways. So yeah, really liking the Kari. These last 3 cards, I would say they're kind of a flex spot. They're not like completely here for the strategy of the deck. Everything else in here very much all ties in together. Maybe not the Gatomon, but everything else here 100% all works as a brilliant cohesive unit. It all works so nicely. So yeah, really liking it. But these last ones are just kind of a personal preference. First, we got the reinforced memory boost here. Just a fantastic card. We have enough yellow in this deck that it should be able to get live very easily. We might not have yellow babies, but we've got so much yellow everywhere else that getting this card live, it should be very possible. Just being able to stick targets into security that we like. We could play those targets off of Mastemon. Or just kind of, a little bit of recovery, nice, memory gain later on. Lots of good different methods here. And to kind of combo really nicely with that, we have Defeat. So 3 Evo cost on top of your Maste or your Ophanimon here, and then delete one of your opponent's Tamers. And then if they delete the Defeat, then you could delete one of their Digimon. It's just Defeat is just a very powerful card. And with all the recovery that we're kind of doing in this deck, it's not a ton, but it's a decent amount between the Ophanimons and the MagnaAngemons, and being able to loop these guys a few times. Yeah, so Defeat feels pretty good here. And then so getting hit out of security, always powerful. Also in the mirror match, if you hit into a Chaos Degradation in security and the only target on field is Defeat, yeah, that's going to suck for your opponent because Defeat gets placed in security just to get hit back out later. Like a really, really spicy mirror match counter card. I really, really dig it. Also, just being able to delete Tamers in this format I think is very powerful. Deleting memory fixers is huge, whether you're going in the mirror match, deleting that Kari. If you're going against armors, being able to delete armors, Tamers, whether that be the Davis or the Duo Tamer, doesn't matter. The Imperial, being able to stop them from starting turn at 3 memory is so huge. That means they can't go Stingmon for 3, DNA Digivolve, and then hit you for a bajillion, okay? Preventing Imperial from starting their turn at 3 memory is going to be a very, very powerful play. So Defeat kind of helps you ensure that you keep that going. And so that is the deck. This video is kind of long, but there was a ton to talk about, a ton of very important things. This deck is very, very intricate, very, very difficult. Purple has always been a very difficult deck to manage. It's not for the faint of heart. This is for like a very skillful or very dedicated. If you're willing to put in the time and effort to get very good at this deck, I think it's going to be very powerful and it's going to reward you very well. Just like those players that stuck out with Lilith Loop and they really mastered it and brought it in up to a whole nother level. Like those players, they were rewarded for that, and they got to be very good and started winning tons and tons of tournaments. This deck is exactly that same manner of thinking. You put in the time and the work and, doing the tweaks here and there and doing what you need to make it, being able to counter the current meta, then I think this deck is going to take you very, very far.